Happy freaking holidays, everybody. Welcome back to another video. And I know it's a little crazy. We are not doing a Pokemon Sword and Shield video today. It's the first time in a very long time. But today I'm going to be talking about a game that we have talked about prior to now on the channel a couple times, actually. And that is Daemon X Machina on the Nintendo Switch. So I'm sure if you're paying attention, you've noticed the Christmas tree in the background. I set it up because it is now December and it is officially time to put up all the Christmas decorations. And I have a question for you guys in the comment section because a lot of people disagree with when the tree should go up. A lot of people put it up at the start of freaking November, like the day after Halloween, and that's wrong in my opinion. And then I think it's appropriate to put up the Christmas tree like Thanksgiving Day or after Thanksgiving anytime. So in the comments below, let me know, if you celebrate Christmas, when is it appropriate to put your tree up? I want to know. I want to know what people have to say. But enough about that. I'm going to put a dip in it, and then we're going to talk about Daemon X Machina here in this video. Alrighty folks, so first and foremost, this video is going to contain spoilers. So if you are interested in picking up Daemon X Machina and you're trying to figure out whether or not you should, go check out my review video on it, because this one is going to contain all the spoilers for the story. So if you don't want that ruined, click away now. Now, like I said earlier, I have talked about Daemon X Machina a couple times now on the channel. I did a first impressions video and I did a review. And in my review, I recommended this game to people who were interested in it. And the reason for that is the gameplay in Daemon X Machina is really fun. Building your different arsenal loadouts is a blast. I love doing that. The online mission really gives me some Monster Hunter vibes in the way that you work with others to take down different boss type monsters, and then you get new loot that you can then add to your arsenal and make different loadouts. That's really cool. Really gives me Monster Hunter vibes. And then the developers are actually pumping out free content all the time in the form of new online missions and even a new game mode that features PvP content that wasn't in the game at launch. So that's really cool, and there's a lot of stuff coming to Daemon X Machina that I really like. However, I did mention in my review that the story in this game is freaking confusing, and it's just not well done. I really just, the further I played into this game, the more confused I got. And just recently, I finally sat down and was like, you're gonna beat this game. I sat down, I finished it, and I was left with more questions than answers, honestly. And I really wish it wasn't the case. So really the point of this video is I'm going to talk about the story from everything that I was actually able to understand. Because the story is so freaking confusing. There's a lot of information that I just didn't get. None of it's very well explained, and I really wish they would have done a better job communicating what they were trying to get across in this story. So I'm going to talk about everything in the story that really was important. Like, I'm going to focus on the main plot points because there were some side stuff that they did with other characters that just really didn't add much to the story, and most of it happened off screen, so it really didn't impact you in any way. So I'm going to talk about the main plot points that you experience as your character in the game. And then I'm going to talk about how they could have made this game better and what I want to see from a sequel if they made a sequel. So let's talk about the plot in Daemon X Machina. And if anyone watching actually understands what the hell is going on in this game, feel free to leave a comment below, because I would love to know what happened during this game, because I just don't understand the vast majority of what was going on. And I really wish I did, because this game is very interesting. The world that they've created here is super interesting, and I really enjoy it. I just wish it was better communicated so I actually understood the world. So to start, in Daemon X Machina, at the start of the game, in the prologue that they released before the game, the demo that transfers over to the main save file if you're interested in that, the moon blasts apart for whatever reason. And when it blasts apart, it releases this red energy known as femto. And this is poisonous to some humans, as well as mutates other humans into what is called an orbiter. And these people will gain special abilities from this femto energy. And most of these people who are mutated and have these abilities will then become mercenaries, who are people who control these big robots known as arsenals. Now, the femto energy also kind of corrupted the AI, the artificial intelligence used on Earth, and it turned them against the humans, creating the Immortals, which are just the name for the AI units that you are fighting against in this game. And so the mercenaries, the people who were mutated by the femto energy, use their arsenals and accept missions from the different organizations found throughout this world to kind of take care of the AI threat and try and just make sure the world remains peaceful for the most part. Now, your character is the Rookie. No one knows where this character came from. It is kind of hinted at throughout the story from a lot of the characters, but it just never is explained, and that's really frustrating. But you are the Rookie. You're a new mercenary who shows a lot of promise, and you start meeting a lot of the characters and other mercenaries and the different mercenary groups found throughout this world, and you start completing missions with them and working together to kind of fight back against the Immortals. And the whole time you're working with these different mercenary organizations, you're never allowed to actually pick and join one, which really was an odd thing to me. They introduce all of these different mercenary groups, and you're never allowed to be like, yes, I am a member of Bullet Works or I am a member of Terror, and it never really made sense to me. So as the game progresses, you will be ranking up and taking on harder and harder missions as you go, and for whatever reason, you will constantly be battling your other mercenary allies that you did missions with in the past, because for whatever reason, their mission seems to always be in opposition to the one that you're on. And this kind of gives the sense of there's something going on in the background with the organizations, but it's never really explained at all. You always just end up fighting them and moving on, and it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It gives this feeling throughout the entire game that there's something off and there's something not quite right, but it never gets fully explained, and it just leaves you very confused. And then there is this one mercenary known as Grief, and he is the leader of the mercenary group known as the Terrors. And basically, he's a little off the whole story. You could kind of tell that he is being set up to be the big bad throughout the entire story. And you're constantly wondering what his big plan is, and it never really gets explained until almost the very end of the game, which was kind of annoying. You just constantly were put up against him, and you knew he was going to be a problem later on down the line. And there's also this AI-controlled arsenal, which is the mech in this game, and it pops up constantly throughout different cutscenes at the end of missions, and it speaks in this alien-like language, and it's never explained what the hell this thing is. Like, you see it a lot, it shows up in a variety of missions, and I never understood what the hell it was. I figured that was actually going to be the big bad at the end of the game, and then it just kind of disappears, and you never see it again. It was a really weird thing, and I really wish they would have just kind of explained what the hell was going on there. And one thing that constantly bugged me throughout the campaign is, as you were fighting other mercenaries in these missions, they would constantly make it seem like you were making a choice to battle them and like make this decision. And in reality, your character doesn't freaking talk or make a decision until the end of the game. You never actually get to choose whether or not you want to fight the mercenaries that are in opposition to you. But they always have a dialogue line that's like, rookie, you know what you're doing, you know this is wrong, and you're just forced to fight them regardless. It gives you this false sense that you have control over the narrative, and you don't, and it's really frustrating throughout the whole game. So, the further you get into the game, you learn that Grief wants to further accelerate the evolution of humans. And he wants to do this by wiping out humans, by removing the barriers that is protecting the normal humans from the femto energy and allowing the femto energy to wipe out people and letting those that are able to mutate kind of reproduce and evolve. And basically he plans on doing this by releasing this machine known as the Dominator. So you work with a select group of mercenaries to stop Grief and the mercenaries that decided to join his side in this battle, and you work to fight and prevent the Dominator from being awoken. And by doing this, you learn that the AI are actually not the bad guys. They're actually, the reason they attack humans is because they're trying to prevent them from awakening the Dominator. It really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I really don't understand why that is a thing, and it's kind of confusing, but yeah, that is what happens. So then you will battle and you will fight until you get to the point where you stop Grief at the Dominator and you destroy his arsenal. But for whatever reason, he fuses with the Dominator. The Dominator like clicks on top of his arsenal and he becomes one with it, and it's really weird. And then you have to fight the Dominator and you destroy it. And this is the point in the game where you actually make a decision. Grief kind of tries to fully explain his plan. It's very confusing, doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but then it leaves you with the decision. The game gives you the option at this point to fulfill life's true purpose, which would then shut down the barriers, allowing the humans to live normally away from the femto energy, causing them to become basically extinct, and then have all the mutated orbiters then move on and evolve as people. Or you can choose to search for hope, which in turn means that you will not fulfill Grief's plan, and then you will just kind of try and protect the Earth as it is. And I really did like the option to choose this because you get a cool little cutscene that kind of shows the aftermath of your decision, but that's all you get. And I do not recommend you play through the game again to try and see the other ending, because that's it. It's just a cutscene. So I really would recommend you just watch it on YouTube, because right after the cutscene, the game ends. That's it. And since that's where the game ends, the game just stayed confusing the whole time. You never really find out what everything means in the grand scheme of things. However, I want to see another Daemon X game. Like I said before, I find this world very interesting, and I think if they would have, instead of trying to work on numerous different angles and different story elements, and they just focused on Grief and his plan, and they would have better communicated what all of that meant, I feel like this game could have been a lot better than what it was. If they were going to make a sequel for Daemon X Machina, this is what I'd want to see. I would want a prequel. Honestly, I'd rather have a prequel than a sequel. Because of the two endings, I think a sequel would be a little confusing, which means one ending would be the right ending, one ending would be the wrong ending. I would rather see a prequel because I want to see the development of these orbiters and then becoming mercenaries and these groups forming. And I would like to see better character development. The whole time you're playing, these characters are just kind of thrown in through like these little text scenes. They're fully voice text scenes, but you don't really learn much about the characters through these scenes. You never really connect with any of these characters. So I'd really like to see a more fleshed out character development in a sequel or a prequel, whatever they decide to do. I'd almost want to see something very similar to Fire Emblem, how you can go and talk to every character and you can actually learn more about them and develop bonds with them. That would be really cool to me. And I'd also like, based on that, to be able to choose a different mercenary group to join. If you connected with a certain character or certain group of characters in the story, I'd like to be able to join that mercenary group, like the Bullet Works. That would be really cool. On top of that, I'd like to actually make decisions. If you're going to have characters react like I'm making a choice, I want to actually make a choice. I want to have choices that affect the story, and I want to have choices that affect how characters react to me. That would make the game a whole lot better than just them saying I'm making this choice when I never actually made a choice until the end of the fucking game. This next part, I don't think that anything was wrong with the mech customization in Daemon X Machina. I really enjoyed this aspect. I just want some more customization options because this part of the game was really fun to me. So I'd like to have other ways to customize my mech. I think that'd be really cool. And finally, like I mentioned, they always tried to have these alternate storylines going on with these other characters, but because they never fleshed out these characters and you only really interacted with them through like the dialogue text at the start of missions, you never really understood any of these additional storylines. So rather than have all these crazy additional storylines going on the side, focus on one story and explain it better. Because if they just explained this world better and just like talked about what was happening, what the circumstances were, and just allowed the character to better understand this world that they were playing in, I feel like this game could be really, really cool and be one of the cooler new IPs on the Nintendo Switch. So yeah, I really want them to make a prequel, sequel, I don't care, whatever they decide to do, and I want them to really answer some of these questions that I have, because the first game is just not the place to look to get the answers to the questions I'm asking. This world is interesting, I want to know more. But that is all I have for you guys today. I'm not sure how long this video ended up being. I feel like it took forever to get all of this out. But let me know in the comments below. Do you want to see a prequel or a sequel to Daemon X Machina? Is that something you're interested in? Or would you rather let this game just die? Or do you actually understand the story? Do you know what's happening? If so, leave a comment below. Let me know. And then finally, when is the appropriate time to put up a Christmas tree? These are all things I'm interested in hearing from you guys. Leave a comment below. But like I said, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video and found it to be entertaining, leave a like and smash that subscribe button for more videos like this in the future. Be sure to share the video with your friends. Let's grow this community here on the channel. If you have not yet, be sure to check out my podcast that I try to record every week with my buddy Nag, where we talk about video games and video game news. It's a really good time. All my other social media should be on screen here at some point, so check me out there if you're interested in keeping up with the channel. But that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.